Yeah, zero chance.
Never, ever not cry at the opening of that
No,
movie.
you can just end it there. There's zero chance that I
don't cry.
I won't cry. Or that I won't cry. I'm always crying. I'm a sad boy.
Constantly crying. Welcome back.
I'm crying because Tyler isn't here again.
What's up, fanboys and fangirls? Tonight is a sad night. We have to announce that Tyler is once again not with us.
He's at Met Gala.
Met Gala. Oh, that's
obviously
where it's at. Met Gala.
Yeah. He's hanging out with Lady Gaga and Rihanna and
Fancy Boy, getting drinks with all them celebs.
Wearing a suit made out of like string cheese or something. I don't know what the theme is. I also don't care.
So tonight it'll be Luke and I holding down the fort. Should be a good episode. Hopefully.
Well, I hope so. If it's not, I really hope people would let us know if we were just like awful. I could take it.
I couldn't. I'm emotionally fragile. That's not true.
I'm emotionally dead.
I mean, I am, but like I can handle it. I've got thick skin when it comes to the podcast. Anyways, yeah, Tyler's not here. Luke and I are, and we're going to talk about a Swedish film. It's Swedish, right?
I don't know.
Norway, Swedish, Norwegian, Finnish. Anyways, we're gonna review SISU. SISU. Finnish. I think it is Finnish.
You know what? Sorry, you say that now, and it makes me like think about the movie a little bit more and how things might have been better if it was in Swedish or Finnish and not English.
We'll talk about that later. Before we review that, though, we're going to talk about the crap ton of new trailers that came out this week at CinemaCon.
Oh, yeah.
Luke, lead us off.
Okay, I will. I'm gonna. I don't know if all of these are CinemaCon or not.
Oh, sure.
So we're just gonna assume they are. But I'm gonna start with least interesting to most interesting.
Fair.
And I know Tyler isn't here, because I think he would be way more excited for this. But I watched the trailer for the Twisted Metal TV show, and I almost threw up. Okay, hyperbole, but
just a little.
I did not see anything in that trailer that would make me go, this looks like a show I would watch.
Look, it
never played the game, I should say.
Yeah, I don't have any attachment to this IP, and I like Anthony Mackie quite a bit. But the teaser did have a real like,
hey, start your engines.
TV like not even, and look, I didn't expect this to come in and be like, this is high end TV, but it just did have a real like, we're not even like zero seriousness here, and maybe that's the vibe that Twisted Metal gives off, and that's fine. But yeah, not for me. This was probably a thumbs down for me in terms of like interest of watching it.
Tyler would probably give it a
Tyler
thumbs
would
up.
Definitely give it a thumbs up. He would. We can speak for him on that.
Least next interesting from me was The Witcher Season 3.
Yeah.
It might be because we both have given up on the show.
Absolutely. I think it carries a weird tone with it, knowing that it's continuing, but Henry Cavill's leaving. Yeah.
Some of my favorite comments underneath the trailer were, yes, The Witcher's final season. yes, the final season. It's like, oh yeah.
It's another thumbs down for me. It didn't really do anything. I don't know. It was a teaser, so it didn't show much, but The Witcher has kind of figured out I think it's figured out what it is, and it didn't look like it was changing anything. So,
yeah. Next one, a little more interesting, but we're not, I think, up to interesting yet.
Okay.
Which is Hunger Games: The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I should say this interest level is me, not you.
That's fair. Yeah.
It looks okay.
I'm not here for it.
It feels unnecessary. And is there a book for this movie?
I think so.
Okay, I think that helps a little bit that it's not just completely random, but I didn't really need more Hunger Games in my life. think it would have been nice to just maybe wait a long while still and then just reboot it as a show if you want to do something.
That would be interesting. I think there is an interesting story in the idea of like how do the Hunger Games start?
The like way it was old timey. Like
I
the
didn't
tech
like
isn't
that.
there yet.
Didn't like that.
I think that is kind of interesting. Like how did this work before they had hover ships?
Yeah,
And holograms.
Yeah, that's true. So it'll be a little different in that regard. But it really did just kind of feel like a hey, remember that thing from Hunger Games? Remember the pose? Hey, she's from District 12 too. Look, it's a girl from District 12. You know? And oh, so many references to Snow. And I get that Snow is a character, like he's a young character in this.
Dude, Snow is falling. It's gonna fall.
I don't know. I was not enthused by any of the acting
Why not,
in this
like,
trailer.
Why not use District 13? They're around at this point, right?
Yeah, I would think so. I don't know. It doesn't really pique my interest. Wasn't a great trailer, in my opinion. Hopefully it makes some people happy.
I do like the Hunger Games movies, so I'll still see it. Maybe it'll surprise me. But yeah, it wasn't a great trailer.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed that it's better than I think it looks.
So this is where the interesting skill might take some interesting turns.
Ooh.
My last one might surprise you.
Okay.
But next Goal Wins. This is Taika Waititi's next movie.
Next, Searchlight Pictures.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where I think I'm most excited to see him work. I'm kind of tired of his like big movies. Like, don't give him a blank check. Don't give any director a blank check. That's
even Ryan Johnson.
Even Ryan Johnson. Never give Ryan Johnson a blank check. I think that Taika, when he's, I think this is this an adaptation of something too?
It's a true story.
Yeah. So like, so that plus, Jojo was loosely based on, Jojo Rabbit was loosely based on a book. I think when he has material to kind of go off of, I'm wondering if that's kind of where I like him. Mm-hmm. Not that he can't or shouldn't create films outside of that. That's just where I tend to have liked where his films or TV things fall.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So yeah, this one is a thumbs up trailer for me. I'm curious.
Yep. And if you don't know the story, it's about Michael Fassbender going to coach.
The Michael Fassbender?
Yes, the actual Michael Fassbender.
When you said based on a true story, I had no idea.
Going to coach a soccer team.
Yeah.
In American Samoa, I think. No, I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
I think it's Samoa.
That sounds right.
But it looks really funny. And it looks like it's probably gonna have a lot of heart in it too.
Yeah.
Which, especially with Jojo Rabbit, Taika can just spring that up on you out of nowhere. So I'm really excited for that. Next trailer: Transformers: Rise of the Beasts. Let's go, baby.
Trailer looked like all the others.
Yup.
Still sideways for me.
And it looks awesome. The Maximals are here, baby. Freaking Unicron is coming.
Didn't we just do Unicron in
Yes, he was in 5. Unicron was Earth. We ignore that.
Okay, that's fine.
We ignore that.
I'm happy.
It was rebooted in Bumblebee.
Happy to ignore. I just wanted to confirm that I was not crazy and that
they get kind of weird in 5.
Okay.
I love that movie.
Definitely felt like between, I guess it's been a few years since we got Galactus in whatever movie. What was that? Is that a Fantastic Four?
Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer.
Yeah, like the whole something's right above the Earth and it's gonna destroy it, and I get that that's kind of a thing, a trope in Transformers. So it's about time we see it again, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I'm the
you're
only
the
person.
You're the fan.
I'm the only person
I'm the
who
hater.
cares.
Look, Tyler's not here to balance us out this week, so this is just gonna be a fist fight.
I think he'd just be right in the middle, though.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, he prevents us from fighting.
Oh.
Who's stopping us this time?
Okay.
No one. No one, Luke.
I'm stopping to move on to the next trailer.
All right.
Which is The Flash. I really get excited for this movie more and more the more I see. I thought this trailer was also awesome, and then plus they screened the movie at CinemaCon, and people were pretty positive about it.
Pretty positive, or yeah, impressions.
A lot of believe the hype tweets.
Yeah.
Just in general, just about everything that's screened, I feel like was believe the hype.
Maybe that's a sign that we should cool expectations and that people are just excited to be seeing it first at CinemaCon.
Hey, James Gunn loves it. Tom Cruise loves it.
James Gunn gets paid to love it.
Tom Cruise don't know.
That's true.
Tom Cruise only cares about cinema. They need to show it to Martin Scorsese.
That's true. If he has positive words, then it's best picture winner for sure.
Oh yeah, 100%
for sure. I find myself unrealistically hyped for this movie. I was the one who just like a year ago.
Just put it on streaming. Just cancel it.
It's gonna get canceled. Like, this movie's never end. And the more I see of it, the more I'm like, all right, like.
And then like the reviews come out, and you see the trailers, and you're like, oh, this is why they didn't just cancel it.
Yeah.
Like there is probably a good reason for that, besides just it cost them $250 million.
Right.
But yeah, I'm very, very excited. All right. So this is my last CinemaCon trailer.
Okay.
We didn't get all the trailers and all the footage and everything from CinemaCon because lame.
They have exclusives.
Yeah.
Sad day.
But I am probably not even going to see this movie. But when I watched this trailer, I yelled.
Which one is it?
A Haunting in Venice.
Oh, yeah, we literally just talked about this.
It's looked like a seance, demon possession, ghost movie something, starring Michelle Yeoh. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I don't know if I'll see it. I'm watching it, I'm like, oh, this looks okay. And then, unbeknownst to me, the Agatha Christie dude shows up at the end. It's the third
Poirot.
What's his name? Poirot movie.
Yeah.
And it completely...
Kenneth Branagh.
Yes. It caught me so off guard that when I was watching it, I was just like, what? I couldn't believe it. So that's why it's at the top of the list.
Yeah. This was a thumbs up for me. The first two movies in this series have not been great.
This one looks way different.
This one looks way different, and that's
why
maybe
I will see it. Maybe I will see it.
That's why it intrigued me. I'm like, okay, maybe... Look, it could be just really good trailer editing. I fully accept that that's a possibility, and that this movie is actually nothing like that. But if they really are leaning into this, like, oh, it's actually kind of a horror film, dope. Mm-hmm. Let's mash those genres together. I'm here for it.
I just really appreciated, too, that we didn't get an announcement with, like, this is going to be the cast. Here's all these big actors and up-and-coming actors, and who's the murderer? And I was just like, hey, here's this creepy movie coming out. Oh, it's a franchise. It's like, oh, what the heck? I thought it was awesome.
Yeah. And the fact that they know they now have to, like, compete with Knives Out, I think probably pushes them to be more creative in terms of, like, you know, let's just not brand this
We're
like
not
a murder
with
mystery.
Knives Out. Knives Out is competing with me.
Yeah, let's look at those box office receipts.
Well, Knives Out 2 was only in theaters for like a day. So I don't know if it's fair.
That's a good point. Let's see. Let's just see what the Glass Onion box office. 15 million for 1 weekend. 1 week.
I don't remember.
I think it was a week. Death on the Nile.
I hope it made
box
less.
Office.
I hope it made less.
It won't. No. 137.
So funny.
But
like,
14 million. But Knives Out made like over 300. So
and Rian Johnson made like 300 from that Netflix deal.
400.
So
400
like, That is stupid.
2 movies.
That is stupid. That's
2
nearly
movies.
a blank check.
It is.
Oh my gosh. That is ridiculous. Holy moly. I can't even, think about that much money existing.
And, okay.
Oh my gosh.
Some additional detail to that. Death on the Nile... So
Death of the Nile was garbage. No.
It made 45.6 in the U.S. and Canada. So most of that was,
International.
2/3 of that movie's gross was international, and I think Knives Out was almost exclusively.
It wasn't even in half
US?
the theaters in U.S.
Yeah, it was very small. Just saying, if
we were worried it wasn't
head
coming
to
to
head.
Wichita.
Head to head, I would put my money on Glass Onion. In any case, next trailer? Was that it?
That's all the CinemaCon trailers I have. There was a couple other stories maybe dealing with CinemaCon throughout the week. Well, there was lots, but we're only going to talk about a couple of them.
I've got one more trailer that came out separately. I had forgotten about it until I saw it. It's a Disney movie. It's Disney's next movie. It's called Wish.
I didn't even watch this.
I think it's
my least interesting. It's on the bottom. That's
look when it's interesting for me for 2 reasons. One, because it is not a sequel. It's not Moana 2. It's not a live action remake. It's a new animated feature, and
good point.
It's in a new art style. It's leaning more into that Puss in Boots and Spider-Verse.
Puss in Boots.
Of course, my mistake.
Yeah.
It's not quite that extreme. It's a little more matte, maybe. Those can both kind of have fun glossiness, and this looks it's almost more fat. It almost feels more like fabric. There's more texture to it and uniformity than I think Puss in Boots and Spider-Verse have more going on.
Mm-hmm.
But it intrigues me simply because of that. Other than that, I think it looks like a fairly standard Disney animated film. But I've got a 8-year-old daughter, so
you have to see it.
I will inevitably see it. We don't get to take her to the movies for that many things. So when we do, we go. Anyways, that was the only other trailer that I had remembered last second.
Well, if I had to put that without watching it on my these are the interesting trailers from CinemaCon list. It's obviously at the top because it's so interesting because I don't know anything about it. It's mysterious. That makes things interesting.
Oh, good. All right.
I do have... Oh, here. I'll finish the CinemaCon stuff.
Okay.
The first one, we found out that Kraven the Hunter is going to be R-rated.
Yeah. I think that's...
They didn't say it was going to be good, though.
That's Sony's thing. Well, look, it's a Sony Pictures superhero movie. I don't have a ton of faith that it would be good anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm still intrigued, but
mm-hmm.
definitely not. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel that. All those grunts, I feel that. We got images of Dune 2. There was they had footage and a trailer at CinemaCon.
They didn't show us.
But they hate us. And we're like, this one isn't for the fans.
He's not making that movie for the fans.
He's doing it for himself.
He's making that movie for himself, for sure.
But the images that we saw looked really good. We saw Florence Pugh.
Mm-hmm.
We saw Josh Brolin. He's all bloody. I am so excited for that. Most anticipated. And then this is hilarious. It was released that Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, which comes out in July?
I think so.
Just wrapped filming this past week. Everybody was like, huh?
Excuse me?
Pickups, right? Reshoots? Or finished production.
They're still shooting principal. Oh my god.
Tom Cruise just couldn't get that cliff jump right, I guess.
That movie's gonna be like a 5-hour epic.
Awesome. I'm here for it.
I mean, they literally split into 2 parts, so.
Awesome.
6-hour epic.
Dude, I'm so excited. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I didn't have any more CinemaCon stuff.
I don't either. I've got some other news, but we can tackle that after our review, I suppose.
I do have a game trailer.
Oh, well, that's a trailer. Throw it in there, my friend.
Did you watch the trailer for Armored Core 6? Fires of Rubicon?
Yes, I did. And despite the last trailer getting me incredibly hyped, this trailer made me go, why was I excited about this again?
Because these giant mechs. That's why I'm excited. But like I don't know if I'm gonna get it because it's from Software.
Right.
And I played a little bit of Elden Ring and I was like, not for me. I don't have the patience for this. Like this is like my limit in Souls.
Yeah.
Style. That's barely Souls. It's more Metroid than Souls. But I think it looks super pretty. It comes out this August. They have had a great track record of the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And I just need to bring it up because it is one of my predictions for the year. I know it's like such a long shot that it wins Game of the Year, which is the reason I made the prediction. Because
you never know, though.
We got Starfield and Tears of the Kingdom coming out this year.
Yeah.
And if one of those sucks, it's probably going to be Starfield.
There's like a chance, though. Yeah, that's true.
Oh, I just want to be in a giant mech suit and fight people because Anthem doesn't exist anymore.
We need to hop back on, my friend.
I don't have it installed. I've hopped back in without people.
I know. I'll play with you.
There's nothing to do.
We'll
You know how people say like dead game, nothing to do?
Literally.
Anthem. Know why? Because they stopped making stuff for it and has zero support anymore.
Sad. I'm sorry for you, friend.
Game was not that bad. Just needed to fix a couple of your bugs going on. Release an update. Gosh dang it.
Release the Zilke cut.
I don't have a cut.
A finished game.
Just make a game. Finish your game. Redfall, you're listening? Make a finished game. Allegedly. I should say I haven't played.
That's true. That's true.
To the couple people that listen.
No, Google, I do not want to be a part of your AI experiment. Get
I do.
Here. Send it to Luke. Okay.
I just got an email from Google.
So tonight our main topic is going to be reviewing SISU, which is a Finnish film about a
Gold digger.
A retired slash
a veteran gold digger.
Yeah, veteran in World War II who gets his gold. This is not a spoiler. This is all literally in the trailer. Gold stolen from the Nazis who are retreating, and
the Nazis steal his gold.
Yes. Sorry. By the Nazis.
He finds the gold. They steal it,
and then he
gets angry.
John Wick style angry.
Even a little,
maybe a little more. Maybe more. And it's kind of just my kind of like tweet in review is that like it's a little ridiculous, very indulgent, but a fun romp through a wasteland of World War II.
Mm-hmm. Where's my letterbox? I'll just read my letterbox review.
Love it.
I said the dialogue and acting aren't great, but we're not here for that. We're here to watch an old man release carnage on a bunch of Nazis in the most over-the-top way possible, and with that, it delivers. This movie is like super violent and it's very intense.
Yeah, I
lots
knew
of
it would
exploding
be
bodies.
But like indulgent is the best word I can find for it because it really just says like, what do I want to do? I want to blow things up. I want to see, gore, and it leans into it. Like, not every second of every frame. I actually think there's some like really pretty cinematography in this movie.
Yeah,
but at the same time, it's like, how's this guy gonna save himself from being hung, and it's like we're just gonna show this real nasty thing.
Whole audience.
Yeah, good sound design too. Like a pro for this movie, sound design.
The pro was it was done well. The con is I didn't like the way it sounded because it was gross.
Yeah, no, for sure.
It's not a con, but it's like my ears don't like that. Please stop.
I do think the script is maybe a little fragmented, which is why they lean so hard into the chapters. It's kind of a stylistic choice that kind of feels like they were emulating Tarantino, which isn't a bad thing. Like, you can do that and get away with it, and it's fine. But I do feel like there's a couple moments where it's like, okay, no, we just need to get to the next act. And so, like, big old title, we're moving on. We're really worrying about connecting things real fluidly or naturally. Which to me is a sign of, like, either it's a problem in editing or it's a problem in the writing. Because I don't think this movie is poorly written. There's not a lot of... It's not going to win Best Screenplay or anything.
No.
But for the most part, like, I think it does what it needs to do because it's fairly low dialogue.
Yes.
So it's just about driving the action. And it does get us from one place to the other, and it comes up with interesting scenarios for each kind of chapter.
Yeah, the script is super simple, and what dialogue there is, not a lot. It is a silent protagonist.
Yep.
He has 5 words.
Yeah, something
maybe.
Like that. Maybe.
But when there is dialogue, I felt like it was just really even worth listening to. You didn't really need it. You get context so easily without it.
Yep.
And like there's the scene, there's the Nazis have these girls that they've
taken with them.
They've kidnapped them, and one of the girls is telling them about the man that is chasing them because he's this mythic legend in the area and he refuses to die, and then there's just like all these awkward swear words thrown into it, and this may be like the language barrier, and then just like taking what was written and moving it into English, and like I'm just listening to it and I'm like, this isn't and it feels so unnecessary too because it's not that type of movie. But then I've like that scene just even lingers so long, and just when like the Nazi commander is talking to his soldiers, like just kind of cringy dialogue and not good acting, I would say. But then you like have the moments where did the old guy even have a name?
Yeah, he did.
The gold digger guy.
The gold digger.
He's just putting the fear of God into these people, these Nazis, and even the girls too.
Adatame. They call him like
he has a nickname.
Baba Yaga. I'm gonna say Koba. I know that's not quite right.
That's a.
I know from Planet of the Apes.
We
talked about Koba last week.
That's the new thing. Every week we're gonna talk about Koba. But no, like just when. Like they're all fighting him and they're trying to figure out how to not be killed by this old man. Like I think they're really good, and I feel like even with how little dialogue there is, they did too much of it.
Sure. Yeah, you kind of mentioned this earlier in the show, Luke, but I think they could have gotten away. I think it would have been really interesting as a proper foreign language film.
I think it would have been much better
if they had been speaking those languages and throw up subtitles, but. It's weird. It's on one hand it's weird. On the other hand, like I totally get it. I really was expecting this to be like a foreign language, and the first time the Nazis talk, and it's like just like a real thick German accent, but they're speaking English, and it's just to themselves. It's like it doesn't need to be.
Mm-hmm.
I think you could lean into that. Again, with the fact that there's not much dialogue, you can get away with, you know, communicating more through what's on screen and your character's emotions. But you know, it's not a huge film. It's not like, you know, a big budget film. So take what you can get.
The set pieces they throw in there are awesome, though. I think the best bit is the mine sequence.
6 million euro budget.
What is that in? Probably 13? 12? 12, 13?
No.
Oh, wait, no, the euros. We're going to say 10. We're going to say 10. Come on, math.
No, 1 point. It's close.
Oh, it's lower.
So.
Oh, I was backward.
Yeah, 6 euros.
So he's gonna...
6.5.
We're here to translate in.
Yeah,
currency.
6.6.
Wow.
$6.6 million. I think
that has gone down a lot.
This looks really good.
Oh yeah, it's a gorgeous movie, and the practical effects are insane in it.
Yeah,
and they got a bunch of blood bags, filled them, put some coats on them, and just laid it out there, and just guts and blood just going everywhere. Absolutely insane.
If you're a fan of, or if you're not a fan of,
if you do not like war violence, you should probably.
If you don't like war violence, but if you're particularly susceptible to like animals in danger, this will probably test you. So be forewarned there. It does not shy away from attempting to look. No animals were actually harmed in the making of the film, but in the movie itself, there certainly is some oh my gosh, what's gonna happen with the dog? Or
it's in the marketing. The dog survives.
No, okay.
You don't have to worry about the dog. That dog was so cute. It reminded me a lot of my brother's dog. It's not the miniature version like I have.
Easton over in the chat says, came in late because I was doing my own review of SISU, but it's a cinematic masterpiece. How dare y'all? First off, we both said we liked it.
Yeah, I liked it. I had a lot of fun with it. I also think it could have done a lot of things better. And the last little action thing, the end, oh my gosh, honestly, it was too much.
Yeah.
It jumps from practical, war, gritty to, Marvel blockbuster. And it's just why? It felt this movie was over the top, and this just took it too far.
I was excuse me.
It kind of did kill the vibe for me.
A little bit, yeah. I like everything in the third act except for getting up and getting down. Take that however you want. Out of context, I don't care. Oh
my gosh.
I do really enjoy the final one-on-one fight. I think that's good.
Mm-hmm.
I like the relentlessness of, it's mano-y-mano and we're gonna figure this out. But then you're right. It goes just a hair too far where it's we didn't need that.
It's like we hit the overdo button. We could have toned that back and it would have been fine.
Yeah.
Would have been fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in agreement.
Which is so interesting because they do something similar in the second act with a plane where it's I'm trying to not spoil anything, but there's
when he escapes the store.
Yes.
Okay.
The gas station.
Yeah, and that is over the top, but in a fine way.
Right.
And man, but yeah. I think people have a lot of fun with it if they go and see it. I do give it a Matthew McConaughey though, mainly because dialogue and weird script, and then
Yeah,
you might facepalm at the end,
yeah.
but it's still a lot of fun.
Agreed. I came out of that. I had a great time. I don't know. This is one of those rankings where I'm also gonna give it a Matthew McConaughey. Mostly,
High.
it's a high Matthew McConaughey for sure. I just don't quite know, like what. I usually, when I give a fanboy worthy, it's either because it's clearly like such a great movie, and there's either an established fan base or like people could jump in and see it. Like I just don't know who to recommend this to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not like it doesn't fit in like I was a big fan of Band of Brothers.
Nope.
No, not really.
Nope.
But it's also like it's not quite pulpy and approachable enough for me to be like, oh, you're like a fan of like superhero movies. Go watch this.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that either. It's really this own little middle ground where I'm happy it exists. It's a little bit like, some of those other weird movies I talk about, like The Lamb. Lamb, just Lamb. I don't know who that's
the
for.
Lamb.
Oh,
Jesus.
Oh, Jesus. Like I don't know necessarily who the Lamb or who Lamb is for, but I'm glad it exists, and
It was for you.
it was for me. And I'm kind of in that place with this. It's like maybe if you're like kind of into the John Wick, but again, it's not that action. It's action heavy, but it's not that kind of action. And it's definitely not that kind of choreography. Choreography. It's not that heavy. But it is still fun, and I think they do a pretty good job.
It's not long either.
No, 90,
Very short.
90 minutes.
We've been getting shorter movies.
We're liking it.
I appreciate that. You don't need to hit 2 hours, 12 minutes.
Nope.
Which I think is the average.
Sure don't.
I'm going to Google it.
Sure don't.
Average movie length.
So, yeah, I think...
That's between 96 and 120 minutes. Wow, thank you.
Average. So, again, it's a hard one for me to know exactly who to recommend it to, but if what we've talked about sounds interesting, I think I would recommend it.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you're not turned off by some of those more intense things.
If you like John Wick and indie foreign films from Eastern Europe.
This is like...
Or Northeastern
It's
Europe.
not, though.
Europe.
It's I don't know what it...
We need like one more for the... We have X, we have Y, we need Z, and we equals SISU.
I was trying to think of like my comparison I was gonna make was All Quiet on the Western Front, but like a fraction of the size. Like it's tiny.
All Quiet over 2. Over 3.
Yeah.
That movie was long.
Yeah. It was a big movie.
That was a good movie.
Big movie. Yeah. So that's our review of SISU. Had a fun time with it. Hopefully you guys do. And gals.
And the dog was so cute.
Super cute dog. And the way it runs and like hops.
And just like the whole movie's windy. It's just like blowing its fur over its eyes.
Also, like beautiful scene. Like,
dude, the movie is really pretty.
Beautiful landscapes and like I know that sometimes that like northeastern Europe can be kind of feel a little not desolate, but like that cold, hard landscape, with lots of like muted tones, but like I still find it gorgeous. I don't know, dude.
That like little river spot where he was panning for gold, and then super nice.
Yeah,
I would camp there.
Yeah, I was getting some real strong Ballad of Buster Scruggs vibes there at the beginning, and it changed very quickly. But actually, Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it.
Oh, okay, never mind. You know the meme though. First time. Okay, couple news stories before we wrap up for tonight. Pedro Pascal is apparently in final talks to star in Gladiator 2. Look, Pedro Pascal doesn't need to be in everything. I love the man.
You gotta have somebody that will always be trending on.
That's true. Always the talks. Guaranteed. That's like some intern at a for a casting director is like they're just like we just need to like put out a fake like trail of fake leads here that like we're in talks with a fake like
Just so
celebrity
you get your movie,
of the week.
Just get your movie trending
exactly,
on social media.
Exactly. Yeah.
Who's in everything right now? Pedro Pascal.
In super successful movie news, the Super Mario Brothers movie passed $1 billion globally.
That is nuts. And it was released on Twitter. Did you hear this?
No.
Somebody with Twitter Blue uploaded the entire movie onto Twitter for a while. And I'm going to try and find the story. Mario on Twitter.
Well, you know, Twitter only has like
9 million people have watched the full
employees.
Super Mario Bros. Movie illegally posted on Twitter. $9 million. I mean, 9 million people.
How?
Do people know, like, how bad Twitter is with video? Like, even if it's Twitter Blue, it's
so is
still
Nintendo
gotta be terrible, right?
is Nintendo going to war against Elon now? Sue him.
I hope so. They'll sue him, and then
they'll sue him.
Elon will be like, "I'm taking away your gold jet mark." But even like 9 million people, but then also it's made $1 billion, which is nuts.
Yeah, first hyper successful movie of the year, right?
Yeah.
Did you have some news stories?
Nope.
Okay,
I'm done.
Okay, well, I was gonna look this up just real quick, because I was curious.
Woo-hoo!
Off the top of my head, come on, box office, annual box office, 2023. Yeah, so that's domestic. Where's? Well, I can't find it, so I'm gonna give up and go on to my next story.
Just make up numbers.
Which is that Nick Pizzolatto.
Want to try again, just in case?
Nope.
Okay.
Nick, Sir Nick, not a sir.
Nick P.
Nick P. Over the writer of True Detective, has joined Blade as its lead writer now. You know the Marvel movie Blade with Mahershala Ali.
Hold on. Who was writing Blade before him?
I don't know. I can't keep track. Blade is becoming the new Flash. It's a revolving door.
So Blade is going to be amazing.
Because then they just got a new director like 2 weeks
screenplay
ago.
Stacey Osei or Michael Starbury. This guy is who I'm thinking of.
I don't know, man.
I don't think I've seen anything he's done. Oh my gosh. SpaceX rocket to Mars is going to accidentally lose Nintendo's tickets.
Oh.
Hopefully I get them. I want to go to Mars.
All right. My last story of the week is that National Treasure Edge of History was canceled after one season at Disney Plus.
What happened?
I didn't watch it. That's what happened. It's me. Hi.
You're not the problem.
Me.
The problem was
They
they made a show that nobody wanted. Let me rephrase that. They made a show, and the version they made was the version nobody wanted. Everybody was like, "Hey, Nick Cage, cool. We loved him in those movies. And Nick Cage is kind of a meme." And they said, "This is Riley Poole's like goddaughter or something. Maybe."
Look, it sounds right.
Maybe an old professor. They met online. They're friends on Facebook. Had like almost nothing to do with National Treasure, and so nobody watched it.
Big woof. Big miss.
Try again, never.
Right. Yeah, please don't.
Unless Nick Cage comes back, I think that could actually be kind of fun.
Look, he could He's kind of having a renaissance right now, so I don't know if he'd come back for that, but
I think they kept saying like, "Oh, we're gonna bring him in for season 2." Joke's on you.
not happening. I did not much this week, but real quick before Luke gives his Star Wars Jedi Survivor impressions, I'll tell you that I watched the back half of a movie.
You
So,
didn't start it? You just finished it.
After Luke and I finished SISU, I came home and Stephanie and Claire were halfway through Peter Pan and Wendy.
Oh.
And so I sat down and watched the last half of Peter Pan and Wendy, and I gotta say, the last half, pretty enjoyable. Not bad. David Lowery, good director. Jude Law, decent hook. The kid who played Pan, okay. But, like, Wendy's the real lead of the movie, as always. I just thought they did some interesting things with that. I don't know how well they were set up, but what I will say is I'm interested to go back and watch the first part and see kind of how it did. So, look, a Disney Plus original movie that I didn't hate. So that's my...
You didn't hate half of it.
I didn't hate half of it. I may hate it after I watch the first half, but who knows?
So it's a booyah.
Obviously a booyah. For sure. The other thing that Luke and I actually both did, not together, separately, unfortunately. Come over this week, we can do it together. We watched the first 2 episodes of Citadel on Amazon Prime. I kind of was wondering, like, would this be like a show that we could do, like, TV talk about? No, not that interesting. It does not feel poorly made, but it sure feels like a very generic piece of TV that's probably way too expensive for what it is.
You know what it is? It's Mission Impossible, except if you put the Winter Soldier in it. That's what it is.
It really is. That's a good point.
It's fake spying. It's it's the IMF versus the Syndicate. That's what's going on.
Yeah.
Except Tom Cruise doesn't have his memories.
I will say the little teaser at the end for, like, season 1 definitely feels
in the weeks in Citadel
more like the first 2 episodes are doing a lot of setup. They feel a little slower. So there's going to be much more action. You're going to see where they spent their budget in over the course of the rest of the season, which I think is only 6 episodes. I think it's super short. I say that 6 episodes isn't super short these days, but it should be. It's too short, I think, unless it's a limited series. But this is not. They're doing a whole, like, spin-off thing on it. I don't know. We'll keep watching it probably because we don't have a lot of other shows right now.
Yeah.
But
well, I have a lot of shows going. But I'm still gonna stick with it. I thought it was fun. Not really anything more than that. It's just action stuff.
Yeah.
Some sci-fi is going on. Well, I'm hoping that there'll be some interesting twist or something that makes me go, "Oh wow, that is pretty cool." What you did with that.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's pretty generic stuff. But we'll see.
Fingers crossed. All right, Luke. What else did you do this week?
What else did I do this week? Well, I did a lot, but I'm only going to talk about 2 things. The first one is I finished Shadow and Bone Season 2.
Yeah.
It is a straight streaming, which is a disappointing downgrade from Season 1, which I gave fanboy worthy. I'm pretty sure. I thought it was a really cool. I liked what they did. Magic in the fantasy world. Interesting characters, and then this season said, we're gonna make it boring. Every single character is going through relationship woes with their significant other, and there's really only a couple of moments, I'd say, in the beginning of the season with the crows that are interesting. And then the last 2 episodes get more action heavy, so that makes it a little more interesting. But it took me... listen, I don't really put off shows that much, even if it's not that great. I'll just finish it so it can be done.
Yeah.
It took me forever to finish.
Yeah.
It was always, I've got something else I can watch. I've got something else. And then I'd start it and I'd be like, I'm going to find something else to watch or play.
Dang.
It was a big downgrade.
It's unfortunate.
So I do not think it's going to get a third season. I don't think it needs one either.
They kind of wrap it up.
Minor spoilers, I guess. They defeat the villain.
Okay.
And they definitely allude that there will be more, but there? There won't. I'm not even sure how many people are watching this. On to my big thing though, which is on the table.
For our audio listeners, Luke, what is on the table?
It's a video game.
You're so helpful. You made my job so easy.
It is a Xbox Series X video game.
God
case.
damn it. Luke's reviewing. Luke is giving impressions over.
Yes, this is
Star
not a
Wars
review.
Jedi Survivor, the new Star Wars video game from
Respawn.
I almost said Lucasfilm. I was like, nope.
Oh, technically, Lucasfilm Games.
Okay, Luke. Yeah, okay.
It's Lucasfilm Games,
Published.
EA,
Published by
and Respawn is the maker,
the developer.
Yes.
You get your words right.
No.
What'd you think about it? What are you thinking about? Because you haven't beat it yet.
I have not beat it yet. I've probably played 20 hours though. And I've been having a lot of fun. I love the first one. I think the first one did a great job of setting up Bones for what it could be, and I think Survivor takes those bones and puts a lot of meat on them.
Nice.
It is a lot of fun. A lot of the problems I have with the first one, they do a lot better in this one.
Mm-hmm.
I won't say fixed, mainly because I think they can keep improving it. But like, for instance, we were talking before. What were your two problems that you had?
Yeah, for Fallen Order, my two problems were map design and navigating said map. It's big, but it's not open, and they're very linear, specific ways to get around.
It's a big map, but you have to go this way.
Yeah. Which is kind of fun for discovery, but it's a pain in the butt when, like, after you've completed a story beat, you have to manage to find your way all the way back across the map. And then my second thing was boss fights. And I'm not a big fan of boss fights in general, so that may just... It's the nature of the game is that there are boss fights. Mm-hmm. But I wasn't a huge fan of how they were handled in Fallen Order.
Okay. So I'll start with the map design. So I think this is a huge fix that they did. This game, it's still Metroidvania.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so much more open. Like, I think the best example is one of the planets you can go to in the game is Jeddah. If you don't know, that is from Rogue One. And it is just a giant desert. It's huge desert. Like, and you're given mounts. You get these giant, like, lizard giraffes that you can run around on and go explore all these different caverns and caves. And then as you find caves or get to the edges of the map, there's, like, the different story beats that led you out there. And you unlock shortcuts and different things along the way to make traversal easier if you want to go back out there.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's also Metroidvania, so, like, you eventually get, like, an air dash, and it's like, oh, I can go here now. The other thing that they made, or that they added, that makes it so much easier is fast travel!
Nice.
Everybody give a woohoo for fast travel!
Woohoo!
Oh my gosh. I think this was the biggest complaint with the first game, outside of, like, the bugs.
Mm-hmm.
You would get to the end of the area, and it's like, awesome. I have to walk all the way back now.
Yeah.
And, like, you have zip lines and elevators, so it's not as bad when you were going out there where you're, like, going all the way around to set up the zip line.
Yeah.
And that is still in the game. But now you can go to a meditation point, and you can fast travel anywhere.
Nice.
At least on the planet.
Sure.
And it is honestly just so nice. I think it's one of the best things they added. Boss fights. I'll speak on this a little bit. I didn't really have as big of problem with the boss fights. I think a lot of people don't realize how difficult the game is. It is a Souls style game inside of a Metroidvania. It's not a button masher. You have to block and parry and dodge, and if you don't, you do get punished for it. Even on the easy difficulty.
Yeah.
Like, you can take a lot of damage. I do think, though, a big improvement has been just, like, in Fallen Order, you'd fight the K2SO security droids, and you would dodge and be all the way around them, and they'd still grab you, and it felt like lag.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
I think they fixed that a ton.
Nice.
I'll still have problems, like, if I'm fighting a giant monster, but I have a little bit of forgiveness, because it's like, I mean, like, I dodged, but I'm, like, still kind of in front of them, and they have a giant swinging arm, or a tentacle, or pincher, or something, and I was like, okay, maybe I'm just need to get good. And I do, but yeah, I think the dodge delay and lag of enemies still hurting you when you feel like you definitely got around them has been much improved. New features in the game, though. This is some of the best stuff. You have 5 different... 5? Normal, double-bladed, dual-wield, blaster, crossguard. You have 5 lightsaber stances, and I just listed them. And they're all very different in how you fight. Listen, I still think the best one is just one lightsaber. I think it's the easiest one to use. It puts out a lot of good damage. That's the one I use the most. It's the one I use, like, almost exclusively on boss fights.
Yeah.
Mainly because, like, if I'm fighting somebody with a lightsaber, I'm, like, whipping out a blaster, too. It just doesn't, like, totally
doesn't quite feel
right.
the same. Yeah.
It's like 1v1, me versus you.
Yeah.
We got our lightsabers in the Force. Let's go, baby.
Yes.
But it's like when you get into a mob or something, and you're like, you have your dual wield stance.
Yep.
It's really cool to try and figure out those action situations. It's also really interesting because when you're in dual wield, you take more damage, like, intrinsically.
Okay.
I
Interesting. I didn't know that.
but
They did it in the first one?
No,
Oh,
you
okay,
don't have
okay.
dual wield. All you have is
Oh, you don't, do you? Sorry, you do.
you have one, and
you
you
have
have
a-
double bladed.
You have a move that you can do that, like, you do like a dual wield,
Yeah.
and then you reattach.
You put them right back.
You're
together.
right. You're
this
right.
is I have 2.
Yeah.
Always. But yeah, so it is like the highly offensive
Stance. Attack type. Yeah.
Whereas, like, the crossguard, the heavy crossguard, I think it's the one I've used the least because it's very slow, but it's like heavy damage, high defense, but very, very slow. It's so slow. It's so slow. It is so hard to get used to. I think the most unique one, though, is the blaster. Is like you're like fencing almost.
Oh.
And then you can just whip out a blaster and start shooting droids and Imperials or Raiders. And they're all so different. My least favorite is still the double-bladed lightsaber. Not only in the game, but in Star Wars in general. I think it's just incredibly overrated. For multiple reasons that I won't get into at this point because I'm still talking about the game. That is a different conversation. Maybe we'll have it someday.
You nerd.
It's so predictable. Okay, we will get into it.
No, what did I do?
Okay. If I'm swinging up here,
Yes.
it's double-bladed.
Right.
Where's the other end of the sword?
Don't worry about it.
It's right there. What am I supposed to do after this? I have to go with that one. It's so easy to fight. Not that I know how to fight with swords. Hi, I want to offer promotion of your channel. Okay. I just read a spam comment.
Dogehype.com. Don't go there.
Don't click that link.
Don't click that link. Luckily, it's
Is that related to Dogecoin? Oh my gosh. What else is there? Story so far has not been what I expected. That's not a bad thing. I'm still really enjoying the story.
Good.
It goes into High Republic stuff.
Oh.
And that's all I'll say about that. I was just kind of expecting more Zepho stuff. Or even what do they call it? Inquisitors. Like, oh, we're being hunted by Inquisitors, and it's not. It's you're investigating old stuff. You're almost like
Ooh.
I'm trying to think, is there anything else I can talk about? Oh, something they added is sometimes on certain planets you have companions. And you can like tell them when to do their little special move, which I think is really cool. I like to expand on that a little more in a third game. I think they can improve that a little bit, at least so far. And especially like when you first start off, it feels like they're really OP. Like one of the characters can just like it's honestly like strand suspend in Destiny. Oh, actually, it's like almost like green lines, and they're holding them on the ground.
Oh, interesting.
But yeah, they're super strong, and there's a lot of new fun characters. The customization in the game is way more detailed. Like in the first one is, hey, I found a poncho. Color. Poncho never actually changed.
Right.
This one is, I can change my shirt. I can change my jacket. I can change my pants. I can change my hair. I can change my beard. Like, and then there's still all the crazy stuff you can change with like BD and your lightsaber customization and your blaster customization. There's just treasure chests everywhere to find.
Yeah.
And I've been having a lot of fun. It is hard though. I feel like I should stress that it's not an easy game. Brett is texting the group chat live on show.
Tyler's not here, and he's sending us the news. It's actually something we talked about earlier, Luke.
What did we talk about?
That Alita 2 is...
Yo!
It has breath. It's not... Look, I'm not here to be like, it's alive. It's happening. But
it's alive! Did I jinx it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, no. I think it's time. I want to rewatch so many things. Maybe we'll start with Alita, because it's only one.
Yeah.
Such a good movie.
It's pretty digestible, actually, for
but
us.
I am really looking forward to beating it. I think I might be getting close. Also, yes, I played on Xbox Series X. I don't...
You had any crashes, any issues?
I've had one crash. When I wasn't even doing anything. I should say I prefer to play on quality mode.
Okay.
I think you just have to play on performance with the game though, because you will get frame stuff.
Yeah.
And I get a lot less when I'm on performance mode.
Gotcha.
So it is kind of unfortunate that there's frames issues were like I felt like a problem in the first one.
Yeah.
The first one had a ton of bugs. Apparently, it's super buggy on PC. It's like almost unplayable.
Oof.
But it's worked really well for the most part on Xbox. I imagine it works really good on PS5.
Mm-hmm.
I would have preferred to get it on PS5, but no, I didn't. Because I got a hard copy. And eventually this game will be on EA Play.
Yeah.
So it'll be part of Game Pass.
And
when it is, I can sell this
that back
and download it digitally and have all of my save data.
No, that's a good point.
So it was a financial decision.
Fair enough.
But yeah, been having a lot of fun. I can't wait to beat it, and hopefully Tyler and Brett play it someday. I will be the first one.
I will play it eventually, I'm sure.
When it's on EA Play.
When it's probably on EA Play, yeah.
I'm really curious if they're eventually gonna bring Cal into live action. They've got the actor right there.
I was gonna say, with the track record of them at this point in bringing their animated characters to live action, I think it's almost inevitable.
It's just like so. It's in a different era, and these characters are like in their own little world.
Yeah.
Like there's a couple connections that they have. That might be a spoiler that I really go. That's kind of a connection to one of the shows. But like where like the story's going, it's just like, whoa, it's pretty out there. Which really, I like the villain. I think the villain is pretty sweet.
Nice.
You fight them once. They do some pretty cool. Honestly, some things I've wanted to see before.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, hey, they did it.
That's awesome. Very cool. Well, if any of you listening have played Star Wars Jedi Survivor and have thoughts, I'd love to hear those. And I can't wait to hear your final review or score. I mean, I think this was a pretty good review, but your final thoughts when you do beat it, Luke.
Review in progress.
Yeah, review in progress.
Hopefully that review wasn't rambly and all over the place because I forgot to write notes.
Nope, it was great.
Okay.
I don't think we have any fan box questions this week, and that's okay.
One other thing I did, I finished Perry Mason. Great show, fanboy worthy. Watch it. It's on HBO Max.
Nice. I need to. I have 2 episodes left, so I'll try and get around to that. Then we can talk about it. Yeah. But next week we'll be reviewing Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Tyler will be back. I promise. Did I make that promise?
Don't make that promise you can't
I don't feel like I can make that promise anymore.
I'm going on vacation this weekend and I'm going to be here.
Yeah, so next week we'll talk Guardians, and probably at least I will be nerding out about Star Wars Visions as well. So
does that come out?
May the 4th.
Awesome.
So,
and also, obviously we'll have Met Gala reactions next week once the event is.
Oh, for sure. Thank you all for watching and hanging out with us here on Twitch, watching on YouTube, or listening via the podcast. We'll see you next week.
What is the point of the Met Gala?
I don't know.